What Dr. Harada mentioned is that sensory disturbances increase near the tips of the toes, fingers, and around the mouth.
More, I see. Yes, clear. Down. There.
Back.
Clear, more.
Through our control studies in Japan, we could not find this type of sensory disturbance in non-contaminated areas at all. It is a typical symptom caused by methylmercury poisoning.
In short, comparing contaminated areas with non-contaminated areas, the pattern rather than the frequency of sensory disturbance is characteristic.
At the same time, Dr. Harada reviewed Steve's clinical report from 2002 when he first examined him.
How is the sensory disturbance?
Very strong.
I found that 2 years ago also.
Around the mouth as well. His reflexes are deteriorating.
He couldn't stand on one leg. He was told he has Lou Gehrig's disease.
A reporter, Kate Harries, asked Dr. Harada about his diagnosis of Steve Fobister.
Perioral and peripheral sensory disturbance. This symptom has no ALS. This type of sensory disturbance is very special for mercury poisoning.
Okay.
So I think I understood things. If he has a ALS, but plus mercury poisoning.
Okay.
In Japan, they also have been saying that you don't have Minamata disease if you have diabetes or ALS, Lou Gehrig's. No wonder people here get confused as well.
Close your eyes. Okay.
One more, please.
One more.
Very dangerous, but yeah, please.
Same thing. Close your eyes. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
La 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 la.
Can you do that?
La 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 la.
La 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 la.
La 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 la.
Yeah, just very little.
Tom Payish was examined by Dr. Harada 29 years ago in 1975. At that time, Tom indicated only sensory impairment.
Okay.
Can you move your hands like that, your wrists?
One more. One side, please.
One at a time?
Can't do that too much with that.
Yeah.
How about that?
This one could do
Bit
it.
better?
Yeah, a little better. This one.
And close
Close your eyes and touch your nose.
quickly more. More quickly.
More quickly?
Yeah,
Okay. Try it with the other hand. Fast as you can.
With the load.
Yeah.
One more.
That one. Fast.
Yeah.
Yeah? How about that? Forehead or mouth?
Forehead.
Forehead?
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's. Yeah. That's more over here than here.
Okay. How about that?
Yeah, this one is.
Forehead?
Symptom is a very typical mercury.
From only sensory impairment in 1975, Tom's symptoms progressed to the typical stage of methylmercury poisoning over a period of 29 years.
Very important case because very long time we are follow-up study.
Hair samples were also taken to be tested for mercury levels when the doctors and the research team returned to Japan.
Thank you.
Tom's hair sample, collected in 2002, indicated mercury levels lower than the safety guideline. Dr. Harada said at the press conference in Winnipeg that he acknowledged that mercury levels in the water, in the fish, and in the residents of Grassy Narrows and White Dog have decreased and are currently low. Some people say that the problem is over. It might be so for healthy people, but it is not the same for the residents of Grassy Narrows and White Dog. Whenever methylmercury passes through the body, it particularly damages the nervous system, brain, and some organs. This is when mercury levels are high in the body. After methylmercury slowly leaves the body, the mercury level decreases, but that doesn't mean the person is better. The nervous system and the brain remain damaged, and it is irreversible.
Currently, their hair samples indicate low mercury levels. However, the residents examined in 1975, who showed no clinical symptoms, are now indicating clinical symptoms 30 years later. Those symptoms are different from the ones caused by aging. Therefore, I cannot help recognizing the effect of methylmercury. According to the established theory, mercury should accumulate above the safety guideline before symptoms appear. I disagree. I think they could have symptoms even when mercury levels remain under the safety guideline if they have experienced long-term exposure.
We must be more sensitive to the environmental pollution by mercury. Prolonged ingestion of mercury in small quantities is the problem underlying congenital Minamata disease.
What are you doing now?
I'm putting her on her standard so I could she can get her some strength in her legs.
Betty and Melissa are Bill Phobister's granddaughters. Both girls were diagnosed with ordinary cerebral palsy, which displays similar symptoms of cerebral palsy caused by methylmercury poisoning. Their parents wanted data for a second opinion, so they wrote to Health Canada.
The letter states something like this, regarding medical information for Betty and Melissa Phobister. We, the parents of Betty and Melissa Phobister, are requesting Health Canada all medical information since the time they were born.
As of 2009, Health Canada has not responded.
I would say the safety guideline should be reconsidered.
Dr. Harada wrote a paper in 1976. He suggested it is necessary to consider the total amount of mercury absorbed by the body over an extended period of time, rather than mercury levels accumulating in the body at a specific point in time.
We did clinical examinations and measured mercury levels in 1975. We did the same examinations about 30 years later. In the meantime, Health Canada had been collecting mercury level data of individual residents. It clarifies individual exposure levels between 1975 and 2004. Doing clinical examinations, measuring mercury levels from the hair samples, and examining the change of effect over an interval of 20 or 30 years in Canada could help us understand what level of mercury could cause these symptoms. Both Grassy Narrows and White Dog cases provide data to guide us.
In White Dog, Anthony Henry began to help residents obtain their own mercury data to provide to Dr. Harada for further research.
And then I'll send them to Health Canada.
Okay.
J-U-N-E.
In June 2005, 10 residents in White Dog sent a request to Health Canada to release their data to Dr. Harada. As of 2009, Health Canada has not responded.
This study is a crucial contribution to the worldwide understanding of mercury problems.
Could you turn this way? Could you tell her to turn this way? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Oh, one more.
It's been 30 years. A reunion after 30 years. Everyone has become older. We're all getting older. It is undeniable that many residents have been exposed to mercury for a few decades. The problem is not over just because currently the fish are considered to be safe. Now we need to keep monitoring how the health of the people who have been exposed to mercury will change. We need to take measures to meet the changing state of health of the people who have been affected and to provide them with adequate care.
You know, we used to eat fish at any size, but now since the mercury thing, a lot of us has kind of be cautious. That's why these are kind of small. They wouldn't carry as much mercury. The bigger walleyes, the more mercury that they have is what we're told. The bigger they are. For me, I just like these kind of little ones. I've always had.
How often do you eat fish?
Oh, whenever I can.
In summer?
Maybe once a week. We try to eat fish other than the grassy lake, the river system. There's other lakes. A lot of our ancestors eat everything. It has a cheek there. They would just gut it open, and they would take care of a lot of this guts too. Like, it's got fat there. Anything that they could eat. But us nowadays, we're a little fussy. But this is still good food.
According to a U.S. geological survey released in August 2009, scientists detected mercury contamination in every fish sampled in 291 streams across the country. About a quarter of these fish were found to contain mercury at levels exceeding the safety guideline established by the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency for human consumption. Mercury contamination is widespread globally, originating from natural and human-related sources, including coal combustion, waste incineration, and mining. We now know that mercury contamination is global and affects many waters that have no obvious mercury source. This is because mercury emissions generally disperse widely in the atmosphere before being deposited to the Earth's surface.